So in that case, we called it as adiabatic mixing. We today will solve numericals related to adiabatic mixing. Also, we'll solve numericals related to sensible heat factor. Okay. So I'll share my screen, and first we'll see whatever we have studied in last lecture. Then we can proceed. Okay. Right. So this is about adiabatic mixing. So there was stream number 1, right? With the mass flow rate M1, enthalpy H1, specific humidity W1. It mixes with another stream which is at mass flow rate 2, enthalpy H2, and specific humidity W2. So these two are mixed together at junction, and we get another or the resultant stream which is having a mass flow rate as M3, enthalpy as H3, and specific humidity as W3. Okay. So why we are studying this also, that I have explained you in the last lecture. So there are in industry we have AHUs, which are called as air handling units. Very common air conditioning equipment is there in industries. So what happens in this case? so this was the room we have considered. So AHU takes the fresh air as well as return air from the room. Okay, it mixes these two together, then it does its function of cooling and dehumidification, or cooling and humidification depending on application, and then it supplies the supply air with the help of diffusers to the room. Okay, so these are supply diffusers are there, and there is a return diffusers are also there, which will suck the air. It will pass to the return air duct, and it is supplied to air handling unit. Okay, so that is why we are studying here adiabatic mixing, because in AHU we are mixing fresh air and return air, and we are giving the supply air. Now, apart from AHU, we have other units which are called as FAHU. FAHU stands for fresh air handling units. Okay. Then we have FCU, which is called as fan coil unit. So these are some of the air conditioning equipments which are used in commercial applications. Opposite to that, we have example of AC, what split AC we generally use in our room. In that case, no fresh air is supplied, right? So what AC does, it takes the room air, it passes over evaporator coils. So by the process, cooling and dehumidification take place, and the cold air, cold and less humid air is supplied to the room. So in that case, we are taking the air from room and then again supplying back to the room. So in that case, there is no fresh air. And in case of AHU, we have fresh air plus return air. So for that, we are studying adiabatic mixing. So by applying the law of conservation of mass, law of conservation of energy, we reduce to this form M1 upon M2 is equal to H3 minus H2 divided by H1 minus H3. Okay. Now applying the law of conservation of mass of moisture, we get this equation M1 upon M2 is equal to W3 minus W2 divided by W1 minus W3. That is specific humidity of outlet minus specific humidity of one of the outlet divided by specific humidity of another inlet minus specific humidity of outlet. So it depends on M1 upon M2, right? If I take M2 by M1, in that case, this will be in denominator. Okay, so remember this formula. This will give you a hint during the mixing of two streams, and there are the numericals in which this is just a first step to calculate the resultant condition of the air. Then we have to do the further calculations. Okay, so with the help of psychrometric diagram, it is also explained here. So here we have P1, that is a state at point 1. Then we have state at point 2. So these are the two streams which are going to be mixed together in adiabatic mixing. Okay, and resultant condition will be this point number P3. So we have M3, H3, and W3. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you. It will be more clear to you once you start solving the numericals. Then we have seen the condition of fog formation. So nowadays in winter season, we see fog, and in the cities like Delhi, the fog is very serious issue. It causes immense amount of air pollution. So what is happening in that case? we have one stream which is very hot and humid, and we have another stream which is very cold and less humid. So when these two streams collide together, this cold stream collide with hot stream, in that case we get a fog. For example, cold stream will be the cold air which is nearer to the surface or the ground. Hot stream, here it will be the above air, right? Atmospheric air. So when the atmosphere will combine with the cold air at the ground, in that case we'll see a fog. Okay, and the fog point will lie outside the psychrometric chart. Another fog condition you can see whenever you open the fridge. आपण just fridge open करतो आपल्याला असं वाटतं की त्यातून असा पांढरा गॅस बाहेर लागला आहे, right? So it is not any gas. In that case, what is happening? The outside air, outside hot air is combined with the cold air inside the fridge, and the condensation of water particles take place. These liquid droplets hanging in the air are nothing but the fog. Okay, so that is nothing, that is another case of fog. Just तुम्ही fridge उघडता, outside air जी गरम असते ती combine होते आतल्या cold air वर, and you see a fog. Okay, so now we'll solve numericals. Let me go to the, okay. So we'll solve the numericals. So what it says, 800 meter cube per minute of recirculated air at 22 degrees Celsius DBT and 10 degrees Celsius dew point temperature is to mix with 300 meter cube per minute of fresh air at 30 degrees Celsius DBT and 50% RH. Determine the enthalpy, specific volume, humidity ratio, and dew point temperature of the mixture. Right? It is straight away another case of adiabatic mixing. Okay. So actually I'm not getting it. Okay, let me put here. So let us write down the given data first. So given here in this case given. So here we have volume flow rate 1, that is 800 meter cube per minute. Then we have TD1, that is a dry bulb temperature of stream 1, which is at 22 degrees Celsius. Then we have dew point temperature of first stream, that is 10 degrees Celsius. Next we have volume flow rate of second stream, that is 300 meter cube per minute. Then we have dry bulb temperature of stream 2, that is 30 degrees Celsius. We have RH2, in this case, that is 50%. Then we have to calculate or we have to find out the enthalpy, humidity ratio, dew point temperature of mixture. That means we have to find out H3, V3, humidity ratio W3, and TDP3. Okay, this much we have to find out. Now the general diagram for adiabatic mixing I will just draw. So there will be, obviously there will be one abscissa which will have dry bulb temperature. We have ordinate which has specific humidity. Then I will draw 100% saturation curve. So this is 100% RH curve. Now in this case we have 0.1 and 0.2. Okay. So 22 and 10 degrees Celsius, somewhere here there will be 0.1, and this may be 22. Then we have 30 degrees Celsius and 50% RH somewhere. So let us say this is 0.2. Here we have 30 degrees Celsius DBT, and then here we have, sorry, here we have 50% RH, and here we have dew point temperature, that is 10 degrees Celsius. So this way I have got the 0.1 and 0.2. 0.1 can be obtained by combining these two lines or intersecting these two lines, constant DBT line and constant dew point temperature line. Then we have 0.2 at 30 degrees Celsius DBT, and it will intersect with the curve with 50% RH. Okay, on the psychrometric chart also I will show. And then I have to join these 2 points. So this will be the line 2, and somewhere on this I'll get 0.3. Okay, somewhere here I will get 0.3. Now that I have to find out. Okay. Now here how to find out? We have this formula m1 upon m2 is equal to h3 minus h1 divided by h2 minus h3. Okay, I think this formula I have to check again here. Okay, so there's a little bit correction is there. Formula where will be here h2 minus h3 divided by h3 minus h1. Okay, now here I have to find out the h1, I have to find out h2, and I know these values already. Then I will get h3's value. Okay, now I'll write down the given values. First I will write down m1. Here mass flow rate will be equal to the volume flow rate divided by specific volume. So from psychrometric chart I have to obtain the value of specific volume, then I will get the mass flow rate in kilogram per minute. Similarly for m2 also I have to go for volume flow rate divided by specific volume. This will again will be equal to 300 divided by specific volume equal to per minute. Okay, so I'll go to the psychrometric chart. Here I will point. Okay, I will first I will point the 2 points, 0.1 and 0.2. Okay, so let us find out. Okay, so let us find out the points. First point was 22 degrees Celsius and 10 degree dpt. So here it is 20, as you can see. Here it will be 22, here it will be 22, 21, 22, and 10 degree dew point temperature we have to find out on the 100% saturation curve. So here it is our 10 degrees Celsius dew point temperature. So here I have to follow these lines. So here is the constant dpt line. Then I have to intersect this with the 22 degrees Celsius dbt line. So this will be my 0.1. Okay. Okay, it is correct. Next point is 30 degrees Celsius dbt and 50% RH. So here I have to go in vertical direction, 30% and 50% RH. Here will be my 0.2. Then I have to draw a line. So I will draw a line starting with this point and ending with this point. Okay. So this is my general curve is there. So this is my 0.1, 0.2. Somewhere here 0.3 will lie. Okay. Now how to find out? For that we have to first find out the enthalpy. Then we have to put it in the formula. Then we'll get the value of enthalpy H3. Then we have to somewhere plot the H3, and then we have to select its line. Wherever this line of enthalpy will intersect with this mixing line, there will we get the point number 3. Okay. So initially, let us see enthalpy at 0.1. So this I have to again extend to enthalpy scale, and somewhere here. So this will be 29 kilojoule per kg. At 0.2, Again, I have to extend this line. Let us extend this line. So this will come here. This is comes out to be 60, 62, 64. This will be 65. Okay. Now at point 1, the volume flow rate here it is 0.84, and at point 2, the volume flow rate is nearer to 0.88. So I can take that as a 0.877, right? Here I will take 0.877. Here the volume flow rate is given already, that is 0.84. Okay. So I hope you are able to see on screen. If you're not able to see, you can double tap on screen and then it can be zoomed out. Now I'll go back to the numerical where we can solve the thing. So here the initial volume flow rate for M1, here we have how much? 0.84. So from this calculate the mass flow rate. So unit will be kilogram per minute. How? Because this is in meter cube and this is in meter cube per kg. So ultimately meter cube will get cancelled and will get kilogram per minute. So calculate the mass flow rate 1. Second case, here we have mass flow rate. How much we have written? 0.877. 0.877. So calculate both the mass flow rate and put the value in the chat box. And ultimately you can go for this. Again here H1 is 29 kilojoule per kg. H2 here in this case it is 65, right? 65 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so calculate and put in the chat box the value of M1 and M2, 800 divided by 0.84 and 300 divided by 0.877. Yes. Any answer? Please calculate the value of M1 and M2. M1 comes out to be 952. Okay, Saurabh. And M2 is 342.07. Okay, great. Others also calculate. Don't just sit idle. Make best use of this time, right? Because this concept, even if you try to read it from books, you will not get it, or it will take more time to understand, right? The better you pay attention here. If you're in doubt, kindly ask. And if possible, take the printout of psychrometric chart. Already I have given you the PDF of it. On that you can scribble. Okay, you take 4 to 5 printouts. On that you can scribble as much as you want. So I'll write down these values from Yasser. 952.38. So this will be 952.38. And this will be 342.07. Okay, I hope this is correct. I'll go back to the psychrometric chart. I'll check the values again. Right, it is correct. Now I will put these values in the formula. So we have formula M1 upon M2 is equal to H2 minus H3 divided by H3 minus H1. So M1 upon M2. Okay. So here M1 is 952.38 divided by 342.07 equal to H2 we have calculated 65 minus H3 divided by H3 minus 29. So from this calculate H3. Now you are in last year of engineering. So don't waste your time in solving this problem step by step. Directly you can write this equation into your calculator and then you can solve. So it will directly give you value of H3. Okay. So by this age or by this time, you should have figured out how to solve these complex equations in the CalC. Okay. In CalC also you can create such equations and then you can go for solve button is there. On clicking the solve, it will give you the value of H3. Instead of H3, you can write down X, Y, anything of your choice. Okay. So if you're not able to do that, you can ask me, I will tell you. Again, there is one very good app is there on Play Store for the scientific calculator. That will also I will share in the group. In that application, you can do the calculations. You can write down the equations and you can solve for H3. Okay. So previously we used to do like solve these equations in 4 to 5 steps. But at this stage of engineering, you shouldn't go in the old ways, right? Directly you can put this equation in the CalC. The CalC will give you the value of the variable. Okay, so I'll show you. So as you can see, this is a, where is it? I hope you are able to see. This is an app I have in my mobile calculator. Okay, so here I will type the equation 952.38 divided by 342.07. Now I don't have to equal it. I have to go for alpha calc. So it will put a equal sign. Again, I have to go for this 65 minus. I have to go for x. X can be obtained by pressing alpha and a bracket, close the bracket, divided by in bracket again x minus 29, bracket complete. So I hope you are able to see this equation on my CalC. On pin to my screen, you will able to see. So this is the equation I have typed into it. Okay. Now I have to go for shift calc. So that will solve the equations. Now here I will get the answer as x is equal to 38 point something something. I hope you are able to see what I am doing here on my calculator, mobile calculator. So this is an app installed in my mobile calculator. Yes, are you able to see? I hope. So pin to my screen, another screen, not the PPT screen, another screen. Right? So those who are not able to again solve this, you can ask me, I will tell you. So here answer how much it was? Again, I forgot. 38 something, right? 38 point, how much it was? 38.51, okay? Okay. 38.51, okay? Now, the next thing, very important step here it is, I have to search. I have to search for the 38.5 enthalpy value. So this is the enthalpy scale. This is 29, this is 30, 32, 34, 35, 36. In between somewhere I have 35. In that I can put, roughly I can put this point here as 35.5. 35.5, right? 35 point, how much it was? 35. 38.5, sorry, not the 30. 38.5. So I have to go for 36, 38. 38.5 is somewhere here. So somewhere here I will get this point as 38.5. Okay. So here it is 38.5. So I have to again go parallel to this inclined lines. So somewhere I will get my value, and here is the point number 3. So this is the point number 3, right? So I hope you understood up to this point. First we plotted point number 1 and 2, we are joined and we created line. Then we calculated the H3 value. H3 value we have put it here, which is 38.5. Then we have drawn constant enthalpy line parallel to this inclined lines, and it intersect this line at point number 3. So this is a point number 3. Here you can calculate other values also. You can say the resultant specific humidity, here it is this much, and this one corresponds to, so this is 5, this is 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5. So this is 5.5 specific humidity. Okay. Now corresponding relative humidity, here it is 30%. Okay. Now next we have to calculate how much amount of moisture change or something like that, correct? So first for that I will calculate the moisture content and then we can see. Okay. So first of all, I will write this in our PPT. Okay. So here it is. So I got the point number 3. So here, this is the point number 3. Here in this case, how I have got the point number 3, I have calculated the H3 value. H3 value comes out to be 38.5. And from that, I have calculated point number 3. Okay. Now they have asked for the enthalpy, which we calculated. Specific value we'll calculate humidity ratio, which comes out to be 30%, and dew point temperature. So I have to calculate now specific volume and dew point temperature. So see here, point number 3 is here. This specific volume will be this inclined lines. Now here it is 0.86, it is 84. So this will be 0.85 meter cube per kg. Next, I have to calculate dew point temperature. So for that, I have to go to the saturation line. So wherever this constant enthalpy line intersects saturation curve. So okay, so this is one. So here it is 15 is there. This is a 14. So somewhat nearer to 14 degrees Celsius comes out to be my dew point temperature of stream number 3. Right. So this way you can calculate okay. So here H3 and from psychrometric chart, we can calculate other properties. So here RH3, here it is 30%. Here specific volume 3, we have 0.85. Then again we have dew point temperature TDP3 as 14 degree Celsius. Okay. So this way I can calculate other properties also. So I hope you understood how I have calculated. Here first I have plotted point number 1 and point number 2 on psychrometric chart. Now using this equation, I calculated H3 value. I went back to the psychrometric chart. I have searched for this H3 value on enthalpy scale. Somewhere I have got this point. I have drawn the constant enthalpy line and it intersects this line at point number 3. Okay. Now once I get point number 3, I can easily calculate other values. So any doubt up to this point? Okay. So I will rub these annotations. Okay, shall we move to the next one? Now, next one is here. Atmospheric air at a dry bulb temperature of 16 degrees Celsius and 25% humidity passes through a furnace and then through a humidifier. Passes through a furnace means there is a sensible heating, then through a humidifier means specific humidity increases. In such a way that the final dry bulb temperature is 30 degrees Celsius and 50% relative humidity. Find the heat and moisture added to the air. Also determine the sensible heat factor of the process. Okay, so this is not the case of mixing. Here one stream of air is there, which is passed, which is as first 16 degrees Celsius and 25% humidity. First it is passed through furnace, that means there is sensible heating. Then it is passed through humidifier, that means there is a humidification. So we have a case of heating and humidification. Okay. So is my voice audible? I hope, right? So I will write down the given data here. Given here in this case. So first one TD1. TD1 means dry bulb temperature of stream at inlet, that is 16 degrees Celsius. Then I have RH1 as 25 degree percentage. Then sensible heating and humidification take place, and the final here it is TD2. Here it is 30 degrees Celsius, and RH2. Sorry, RH2. Here it is 50%. Then you have to calculate the amount of moisture added. That means mass of water vapors. Then we have to calculate sensible heat factor. Okay. So first of all, first come first, you have to show this process on psychrometric diagram. So here we have abscissa, where we have dry bulb temperature. Here we have ordinate, where we have specific humidity. Then obviously we have a saturation curve, 100% saturation curve, 100% RH curve. That means saturation curve, right? Now what is happening here in this? We have a low temperature and low humidity air, which is at 16 degrees Celsius and 25% RH. Then it is heated and added the moisture, so it reaches to this point. So here the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. Initially the RH was 25%. Finally the here RH is 50%. Okay. So here is the point 1, this is point 2, and this is the line. Okay. Initially the specific humidity was W1. Finally the specific humidity will be W2. And this is the amount of moisture is added from W1 to W2. This is the amount of moisture is added. Now here in this case, it's the triangle which is completed. Let us say this point, intersection point is A. This is the amount of sensible heat which is added. And this is the amount of latent heat is added. So sensible heat is on account of change in temperature only. This is specific humidity, while sensible heating remains constant. Latent heat is on account of changing specific humidity, and during the latent heating, the dry bulb temperature remains constant. So the horizontal part is always sensible heating, vertical part is always latent heating. Okay, so here we have to first calculate the moisture added. For that, we have to know the moisture conditions at start at the end, and then we can easily calculate. Next, we have to calculate SHF, right? Now the formula for SHF, sensible heat factor, we all know that is sensible heat divided by total heat. Or here in this case, I can write this as a sensible heat will be, so if I take this to a enthalpy scale, right? So here it will be enthalpy H1, then here we have enthalpy HA, and here we have enthalpy H2. So sensible heat will be HA minus H1, and total heat will be H2. Oh, sorry, minus H1. Okay, is this clear? Now I will go to the psychrometric chart where we can draw the processes. Okay, I hope my voice is audible again. So some network issues are here. So okay, so initially the condition is 16 degrees Celsius wet bulb temperature. Okay, I hope I am correct. 16 and 25, and it reaches to 30 and 50. So I'll first point out 16 dBT. So here it is 10, here it is 15, here it will be 16, and 25% RH. So here it is 20, here it is 30. Between these two, there will be a point. Let us say this point. So here I get the point number 1. Final is 30 degrees Celsius. Here it is 30 and 50% RH. So this is a curve for 50% RH. So I have to go in vertical direction like this. And here it will intersect with 50% RH. So this is my point number 2. Now I will draw a line like this here. So this is my line. Okay. Now I will calculate the enthalpy values. So how to calculate enthalpy values? I have to go in inclined line, follow the inclined line. So these are the lines, inclined line. So this will stop here. Again, I have to continue, and this will reach somewhere here. So this was comes out of it. This is 20, this is 22, and this will be 23. Now here enthalpy I have to calculate. This will be, I have to follow this inclined line. So this will again go like this, like this, like this. So somewhere between 62, 64 and 65. So I can write this as a 64.5. So I have two enthalpy values, right? Now, next thing here it is calculation of specific humidity. Now, how to calculate that? I have to follow our horizontal scale here, like this. And eventually I'll get a point here. Now see here, I have point number 2, 2.5. Here it will obviously this will be 3. Somewhere I will get 3.5 and 4. So this is between 2.5 and 3. So I'll write this as a 2. Let us say 7 or 7.5 you can take. Now final specificity I have to draw in horizontal direction. So here it is comes out to be between before 1.4. This will be 1.35. Okay, so this is my W1, this is W2. Again, this is my H1, this is my H2. Now, where is my point A? So for that, I have to draw a triangle. So I have to draw this horizontal line so that it is visible to all of you. So here, and this is my intersection point. This intersection point is nothing, point number A. So how to calculate its enthalpy? Again, I have to go in inclined direction like this. Follow this inclined lines, draw a parallel line. I know I am not drawing a parallel line, but please understand. This will come to here. And if I extend it somewhere, it will go like this, somewhere here. Okay. So if you draw a perfectly straight line, somewhere it will reach before 40. So here we have 38, 40, between 38 and 40, and just before 39. So this will be 38, or 39. I don't know how much. I'm not able to calculate exactly. Okay, so it will be here, not here. Okay, here it will be okay, this much point. So this will be 36, 38. So this will be 37. Okay, so roughly I have calculated it as a 37. This is a enthalpy HA. Okay, so what I did first, I have drawn the point number A, point number 2 from the given condition. Then I have drawn an triangle like this. In this case, this horizontal part will represent sensible heating. Vertical part will always represent latent heating. Okay. Now I will go back. 64.5. Okay. I'll go back to the example here. Right. I'll close the annotations. Okay. Now see here, what they ask, heat and moisture added to the air. So amount of heat added. Which we call it as a total heat. Total heat will be equal to H2 minus H1. H2, how much we have taken? 64.5 minus 23. So this will be how much? 41.5 kilojoule per kg. Okay. Amount of moisture added. Amount of moisture added. So let us say that is mass of water vapors. This will be equal to W2 minus W1. So here it will be W2 we have calculated as a. So let me go back and check again how much we have calculated here. 13.5. Okay, 13.5 and 2.7. 13.5 minus 2.7. So this will again comes out to be how much? 15 minus 7, that is 8. And चला एक 3 गेले 10.8 grams of water vapor per kg of dry air. So this is very important unit, grams. So you have to check for the unit. I will show you the unit here in the chart. You can check the unit here of the specific humidity. Here it is grams. Okay, here it is grams of moisture per kilogram of dry air. So this is a unit. Here it is given to the specific humidity. That only we have to take. So correct answer is this. This is the amount of moisture added. 10.8 grams of moisture per kg of dry air. And the last, here we have to calculate sensible heat. Okay. Sensible heat factor we have to calculate, which will be equal to sensible heat divided by total heat. In this case, sensible heat will be equal to HA minus H1. So here it will be 37 minus 23. This will be how much? 7 3 गेले 4, 3 1 2, 14 kilojoule per kg. So here I will write down 14, and total heat we have just calculated. I'm very sorry. Okay, I think I have lost somewhere. Oh, I don't know. Somewhere I have lost the PPT. Okay, I hope you have written the data up to this point, because I'm not able to retrieve it. Where it is. Okay, so sensible heat and total heat is 64.5 minus 23, which came out to be 41.5. So calculate the sensible heat factor. 14 divided by 41.5. 0.337, right? So as you can see, 0.337 is less than 0.5, right? That means we can take, if you take in percentage, that will be 33.7%. That means out of total heat, the 33.7% is sensible heat, and the remaining part, let us say 66%, is given to the latent heat. So here in this case, more heat is added by latent way and less heat is added by sensible way. Okay, so this was a numerical related to sensible heat factor, and the process was heating and humidification. Okay, so there are numericals of various types are there. In this case, more variety will be observed in the upcoming chapter, that is chapter number 5, in which we have to study the not only SHF, we have to study for room sensible heat factor, global sensible heat factor, etc., etc. There we have to go for heating and cooling load calculations. So a lot of numerical part is there in the next chapter. So for chapter number 4, this is sufficient. I'll just take a quick recap whatever we have done. Chapter number 4 was related to psychrometry. Psychrometry is the study of moist air. Moist air is combination of moisture and dry air. Then we have studied psychrometric properties like dry bulb temperature, wet bulb temperature, relative humidity, specific volume. Then other properties like saturation ratio, etc., etc., dew point temperature. So after that, we have studied like how to read psychrometric chart, how to first draw a psychrometric chart, what are the psychrometric curves or the lines on the psychrometric chart. I have showed you with the example of ASHRAE psychrometric chart. Then we started to see what are the psychrometric processes like sensible heating, sensible cooling, humidification, dehumidification. Then we have seen mixed processes like heating and humidification, cooling and dehumidification, etc., etc. And the last, we have studied or we have solved various numericals related to psychrometric processes. And this is sufficient to get the knowledge of it. But obviously, the more you practice of these numericals, more proficiency you will get in the psychrometrics. Okay. So ASHRAE charge around $55 if you want to study psychrometry, right? So because at the expert level or in the industries, it is very needful that you know the basic concepts of psychrometry if you are in the air conditioning industry. And if you go to the ASHRAE's website, they charge around $55 just to cover the basics of the psychrometry. So they have this 3 to 4 hours lectures are there where you have to pay and then you have to learn. Okay, so this much importance it carries. So in next lecture, we'll start the chapter number 5, heating and cooling load calculations. It will take again 4 to 5 lectures to complete the theory, then 2 lectures to solve the numericals, and then we can go back, go to the last chapter. So in my calculations, up to 15th of January, we can cover the syllabus, right? So in the next lecture at the 3:30, I will put a short quiz which you have to attend. So with this, we'll stop today. Put your attendance in the chat box and then we can stop. Again, if you have any difficulty in understanding this concept, please do ask. And if possible, you can go to the ASHRAE website, you can go for the membership if you want to excel your career in the field of refrigeration and air conditioning. Again, if you are doubt regarding anything up to this point, you can ask me personally. I will explain you. Okay. Right. So with this, we'll stop today. Thank you for attending.